Without hardly any time to break between that first insane game and game number 2, we are back into the thick of it for the ESL Pro Series Germany. And you can tell why it's called the Pro Series after that first game. Oh, flippin' hell. But getting into the game number 2, spotting down here in the lower right corner of Frost, currently up 1 in this series. It is from Mouse Sports, the Blue Protoss, HasuObs. And his opponent in the lower left, such ESC, very Protoss, much ShoWTimE. Yeah, that was an insane game. Of course, you guys, I don't know if ShoWTimE has a Twitter, but I know HasuObs does. It's just simply at Mouse HasuObs. You guys should absolutely, even if he loses this series, even if he wasn't your first favorite of the day, at MOUZ HasuObs. Go give that guy a tweet. Tell him good job. Tell him he deserved that victory on Belshire because that was ridiculous. That being said, here we are in game 2. It is only a best of 3. So HasuObs can throw this game away. Worst comes to worst, he can play a bad game and come back for game number 3. Someone in chat asking me about my microphone. I guess while we get this game sorted, I can try and talk about it a little. I've never really been asked about my microphone much before. This is an MXL 990 condenser microphone. It's not a USB microphone. It uses the XLR cables, and for those who don't know what those are, it's the 3 little jack plugs. And it plugs into a... Some people buy like really expensive sound mixers, which quite frankly you need, and those are like upwards of like 100 to 200 bucks. I bought a Blue Icicle for 70 bucks. Gets the job done. It needs phantom power, and just converts it to a USB. So I don't know. I hope that answers any questions that Smug Druggler 2 was asking. But okay, gonna scout here, and HasuObs gets the first scout off. So ShoWTimE gonna go the wrong direction initially, but hey, no gas steals or anything to worry about. Both players pretty situated in that regard. HasuObs taking a little more gas than his opponent, going a little bit heavier on that production, or that mining. We'll see if he's going to try and play off of that. I mean, it's Frost, and the annoying thing about Frost is this is another map that can go quite slow, I guess. I hate using that word because it almost sounds derogatory when you say it, but as we saw in that last game, it was a slow opening to a very exciting finish. And I think it's one of those, I don't know, absence makes the heart grow fonder moments. There was like no engagements going on, so the end of the game was like super duper extra epic when it shouldn't have been. I don't think we'll get the same sort of scenario here on Frost, but it's a map that can certainly lend itself to get to that sort of situation where you've kind of just been
First blood.
Where you've been denied action for so long because both players want to play that macro game, because both players want to go to that crazy late game. But if I were ShoWTimE right now, I wouldn't want to go to that stage. Everything about that last game has got to leave him a little bit flustered, a little bit upset, because A, he was ahead in every way. Tech, upgrades, army supply, army actual units, just not in control. If he finds himself in that same situation in game 2 and still loses, I think he's going to be in a very upset fella. So I would imagine he tries to take this more to the mid game more so than the late game. But already getting his expansion up. A very bold move, but something he hopefully can get away with on a map like Frost. It's not that it's no longer that cloak as we that sort of cloak of the fog of war. We had the probe come out very early, so HasuObs already knew where his opponent spawned. If he wanted to go for an all gate or a 4-gate all in or something like that, he certainly could. But ShoWTimE's going to be investing in a Stargate, whereas HasuObs is going for the Robotech. Kind of an interesting dynamic. If you get Phoenixes out, it's so dumb to consider, but Phoenixes actually deal with Robotech quite nicely. You can Graviton beam a lot of them up in the air. You could transition to Void Rays. But the single #1 best thing about going for air, whether it's Phoenixes or whether it's Void Rays, you force HasuObs to play a little bit more defensively. But it's going to be neither of those two things, but instead opening with an Oracle. A curious choice. Oracles, so they're light units. They've got a fairly robust health pool combined with those shields. But the really big thing about it is they're incredibly fast, and that's whatever. Like, the speed boost is nice enough, that's cool. But Stalkers can't keep up with them even with or without that speed buff. So coming in with the Oracle can kill probably 3 or 4 probes and dance out before the Stalkers even hit it. And let's not forget Stalkers as well. They only do 10 damage versus light units. It's not a whole lots. So this it takes, I don't know, what, 2 rounds, 2 volleys from these Stalkers, loses just shields, can back on out with that massive speed. Ooh, accidentally finds the pylon here, though. Reveals himself in the same process, so that's a little unfortunate, but... HasuObs out of spot. Oh, no, he's actually out of position entirely. Big blink forward actually catches this Oracle, but not a lot of damage gets done to it. Again, those shields, quite nice. But blink now revealed. HasuObs is going to be going for a bit of an attack. Observer coming over here, and the nice thing is it's Frost. Look at this. You can duck in from just about any angle. Get in, get out, blink in, blink out, but there's not a lot to actually hold with. An overcharge might even be forced to be used here right away. Sentry's going to back up a bit. Yeah, going to pick off a couple probes. With this many stalkers, you can get in there, you can soak the hits and kill the probes and then back out before you even lose as many of the stalkers. He's actually going to hammer this a little bit. Goes for the mothership core, but blinks out again. Losing only just shields for the most part. Great control on the HasuObs so far. ShoWTimE, though, still has this observer. It might be almost dead. And it doesn't have a lot of kills. But it can still go back in for round 2 if HasuObs is not paying attention. But okay, coming in once again with this blink advantage, so to speak. Has to be very careful as the Immortals are now. They're going to dish out a ton of damage. It's a lot versus Armored, which of course Stalkers are. You cannot... Like, if a Stalker shoots at you, there's a projectile, so you can juke it out with a blink and blink away from it, but the Immortal's just an instant connect. It's bam, wham, you're dead. Sentry's coming for HasuObs, though. This makes it very problematic for ShoWTimE. If he force fields off this ramp, ShoWTimE's then stuck in his main, and he'll lose the natural base, but instead, HasuObs continue to pressure this. Not really even getting the shields done yet. Oh, the hiccups. Why do I have random hiccups? Well, I'm sorry, guys. I can't control that, apparently. But okay, actually, ooh, better than that. If HasuObs can bait the army out to the main, or from the main into the natural, he can warp or force field off the ramp and keep everything out and then blink into the main. That would be sick. But now that, that Immortal with 17 health, that Void Ray now out, this is looking a little bit rough for HasuObs. In fact, this is not looking good for HasuObs at all. His capability to do damage is severely limited. Coming back in here again, force field off that ramp, blink to the main, HasuObs. Now just going to force the fight out instead. Not going to blink up. Going to not even reposition the Observer. He doesn't have high ground vision, so he's taking some free hits from the top of this cliff. Just trying to kite the Zealots for the time being. I kind of wish he would have utilized that a little bit differently, but very limited on what he can do for the time being. Ducking in and out once again. Great control on the HasuObs so far. For the most part, trading really evenly, actually. Look at those resources lost, guys. But 3 Immortals now out. This is going to start one-shotting the Stalkers on top of the fact that the Void Ray can overcharge at any given time. If he decides to prismatically align, that's just going to destroy everything here. Of course, he would love to just blink forward and finish off that Immortal, but if he does, he knows he'll lose every single Stalker. If he loses every single Stalker, then he's out of the game. We're trying to use the high ground this time, but of course there's an Observer with his army as well as a Void Ray, so not really an option. Immediately blinking out there, HasuObs going to limit the damage he takes. That Oracle's still alive, by the way. Still hasn't gotten any fresh kills. No economic damage really done here by HasuObs, so he's actually in a bit of a tough spot coming out of this, trying to get his own... Ooh, nice snipe there, actually. What he's doing right now is so critical, guys. Picking off one unit at a time, getting back home, instead of just going to full retreat. This suddenly makes it so ShoWTimE's coming across with, rather than like a 60 supply army, more like a 53 supply army. Picks off the probe too, so Pylon is going to be kind of limited on where it will go. He's got a Immortal out and Immortal out. If he gets the overcharge off, that'll be really nice. But continuing to snipe. Oh, God, HasuObs with this control. I don't even know how he does this. Oh, again, really nice. Overcharge goes off a little preemptively. ShoWTimE doesn't necessarily need to push into this, but with 4 Immortals, not exactly going to be easy to hold. If this was a lot more Stalkers, maybe it'd be different, but... Okay, gets back up. I enjoyed getting your sick duct. Cannabis is natural. Thanks for stopping by, man. Looks like we actually had a bit of a harassment here as Zealot tried to get in. Didn't get a lot, unfortunately. And ShoWTimE gonna have the pilots picked up. But this is a big thing. Look at this leap forward in tech. We got the Colossus coming in. We got Thermal Lance on the way. And HasuObs is still on Blink Stalkers, guys. He's got some Immortals, but he doesn't have a lot following this up. In fact, he's going for the Templar Archives. Not for Storms or anything, but of course 4 Archons to try and soak some of the damage from the Immortals. That being said, though, ooh, gotta be careful. Neither player with any real upgrades, just one upgrade over his opponent right now, but HasuObs with Blink playing this so nicely. Problem is, his Blink might not be enough. As he gets towards further and further in this game, we see ShoWTimE just bulking up this really sick army, almost doubling the supply of HasuObs at this point. He's going to have Colossus, so he'll have AoE. I don't know, this was a very bold move from HasuObs to go Blink on Frost. Just didn't work. Now he's trying to reel back off this. He's got to cause some real damage or he doesn't stand a chance. Yeah, when's that guy? Sorry. Sorry about that. Had to get a bit of a stretch in there. My back was really hurting. But pushing into the base now is ShoWTimE. Takes out that first Immortal like it's nothing, or the Colossus, or the Archon, I can't even speak. Takes out the Archon like it's nothing. Natural base will fall if not careful. The Overcharge is just doing what it can, but what it can do is not a lot. Third base is up, but it's not running, and this is going to be forced to be canceled at best. Blink's going to try and run around this, but oh god, that Immortal so low, so close, so low. I can't English anymore at this point. This is just not working out at all. Coming in here to the natural one more time. HasuObs has to defend this. Revelation's been thrown down on the army though, so ShoWTimE knows exactly what's going on. Going for a bit of a counterattack with these Blink Stalkers, perhaps the best move that HasuObs could make, but I don't know if he can cause enough damage because this relies on him holding. The base falls down like it's nothing, which means there's no more overcharge. The Archon's doing what it can, but there's a lot more Immortals for ShoWTimE than there are Immortals for HasuObs. Can't even force out the ramp. Of course, Colossus can crush that, and these Blink Stalkers did not get the damage done that they wanted to. And this is just a slow bleed out, but I think ShoWTimE has actually secured the victory this time. So, taking a bit more of a, I guess, mid to late game approach. So much of this, though, hinged on HasuObs' choice to go Blink, and good games called. You know, we'll tie up the series 1-1. Yeah, sorry for the little bit of a brain fart / delay at the end there, guys. I have been up since 4 a.m. casting. It's currently 12:30 in the afternoon. And I'm going to fall to sleep as soon as we're done with this. So, don't go anywhere. We're going to do some ads as I try not to fall asleep on stream.